I will say this, and you're probably going to disagree with me on this one, but the Fernando is not a very good drink.
What?
I'm sorry, it is not a very good drink.
Wells. Oh, no, you have to honor the traditions. Do you not like rum? What's your deal?
Listen, I play a bartender on TV, okay? I know how to make a drink, and I don't know what's happening in that thing, but, like, I drank 2 of them. They'll get you. They definitely will get you. Welcome in, all you golf sickos. It's time for another episode of the Vanity Index podcast, powered by JLab. What's up, Chad?
What's up, Wells? How we doing, baby?
We're good. We're still in New York, but I'm about to be back in LA officially for a very long time. But my wife is doing another Broadway show, so I have to be here to support and be there for her opening night. So for all of you golf sickos that are also married and have to do musical theater when you come to the city, please come see Sarah in Just in Time with Jonathan Groff. It's the Bobby Darin story. It's a great show. I've seen it before. And she's playing Connie Francis. So please come check that out.
You know, I feel like the audience overlap for this podcast and musical theater or just legitimate theater is probably pretty high. I mean, we are, in terms of golf podcasts, I would say, on the classier side.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me if a lot of our listeners are right there on Ticketmaster, you know, or whatever. What's the Broadway ticketing system?
I don't know.
BroadwayTickets.com. I feel like there used to be a thing you could go in like Times Square and buy tickets. But anyway, go see Sarah on Broadway. She is amazing, I'm told. I haven't seen the show yet, but I wouldn't imagine anything less. And you've been spending a lot of time in New York, and you've been playing a little bit of golf. So
yes.
I want to like kind of jump into it. We are, by the way, in the middle of October recording this episode, which is peak New York golf weather. This time last year, I was in New Jersey doing Happy Gilmore 2, sneaking out at like all these golf clubs. The weather is just perfect this time of year. It's like proper fall golf. You've been playing a lot of golf. I'm very jealous. I also got to play a little golf when I was in New York for the Ryder Cup, which we'll talk about. But I want to hear, where have you been teeing it up recently?
I knocked off some really big ones. I got some cool pencils going into my my little shadow box that's usually behind me when we do the show back in LA. So we started out, I did like this like live meet and greet show with some of my friends from The Bachelor world, Chris Harrison, who we've had on the show, and my good buddy Ben Higgins, who was The Bachelor. And we started it out in Boston. So we went out to Boston, and our good friend Taylor Twellman, soccer superstar, one of the best Americans to ever don the red, white, and blue, a guy who's got a ton of caps and now does a lot of announcing and commentating for the MLS and for the national team. He invited us out to his place, which is in Bolton, Massachusetts, so maybe like 45 minutes outside of the city. Absolutely amazing 36-hole track called the International. We played the track called the Oaks, and story goes is that Liv asked to come and do a tournament there, and they gave them a bunch of money and then effectively just like rebuilt a golf course for them. So it is fantastic. And Twellman was telling us before, he was like, you know, it's like a links style course, but it's in a forest. And I was like, interesting. I don't know how, like, is that like abandoned trails? Like, what does that look like? And you know what? He was very right. Like, it did set up very much linksy style, but then the thing that links doesn't have, it has gorse. This did have a lot of pine trees that were very, very annoying and difficult. Anyways, we went out there, played that. If you ever get the opportunity to go play the International, highly suggest it. Have you played that one?
No, I haven't. I've only ever played golf once in Boston. So,
okay.
And I think I played at the place that you're going to talk about next.
Yes. So then the next place was the Country Club at Brookline.
Yes, the Country Club. Did you see any wild turkeys, by the way?
I didn't see any wild turkeys. But, you know, famously, the Country Club at Brookline is where Francis Ouimet won the U.S. Open as an amateur, and Shia LaBeouf played him in the movie The Greatest Game Ever Played. Most recently, Fitzpatrick won a U.S. Open there, and he also won the amateur there. So it just got so much history, right? And okay, this is going to be a crazy thing to say, but I'm going to stick by it. The coolest thing about Brookline is the locker room. The locker room is so elite. You walk in, well, first of all, you drive up, and it almost looks like a college or like Disneyland. You're like,
It's a campus.
It's huge, and there's all these different buildings and stuff. You go, you drop your clubs off, and then you say, like, hey, I'm playing, this is the member I'm playing with, and they send you into the locker room. You walk into the locker room, which is kind of, it starts with a bar, and that's where they have the famous Fernando drink, which you can grab. And then you go into this locker room.
By the way, believe it's a rum-based drink.
Yes.
Fernando. Keep going. Sorry.
I get
thoughts. Too excited about the Fernando.
Yeah, I have thoughts about the Fernando, by the way.
Okay.
But then you walk into the locker room, and these lockers are so old. Like, they're patinaed, and you can see through them, and like the locking system to get in them is difficult and weird, and like an old, like a shower knob to like get in. And it was just... You walk in there, and of course, all the Francis Ouimet stuff's everywhere, and all the history. It's just dripping with just the old ghosts of golf. And I just walked in there, like, I got chills walking in there. You know, like, there are a few locker rooms that I imagine are like the elite ones, and you've seen more of them than I have. But like, Cypress felt that way. I imagine Augusta felt this way when you went. And then for me, like, going into Brookline, I was like, whoa, this is very cool. Which made me think, there should be a company that makes golf lockers that look like they're from the turn of the century. Because they're so cool, right?
So cool. Well, what's cool about the Brookline lockers is they're like a metal cage.
Yeah.
So it's like, you usually think it's like a wooden door. These are like metal cages, and they're pretty thick. Like, I don't know, the stripe, the metal strips that make the lattice are like maybe like an inch or a half inch, but there's pretty big gaps, so you can see through the lockers, which I think probably good for ventilation for your stinky shoes. But they you can see through it, so you can kind of see what people have in it. The other thing that's kind of cool that I'd never seen before is there's like a tradition where members, when they play away, you get a bag tag. A lot of people will hang the bag tags on the lattice on the front of the locker room, and so when I was there. I was in this little alcove, and there was a locker that had like 400 bag tags on it that clearly had been assembled over like a 30 or 40 year sort of playing career. And it was like every golf club you ever would want to see. There's like Ohoopee, and then there's Cypress, and there's Pebble, and there's Augusta, and there's Seminole, and there's Wingfoot, and there's like Shinnecock, and just everything like hung up. It's so cool. And you walk into that space, and you immediately feel the history. The other thing, I don't know if did you do a phone call in the phone room?
No, but I did go in there and look at it.
Yeah, the phone room's cool because there's little pencils and stuff to write down, and there's just like, I don't know, there's like a part of the wood that's just been like hollowed out from people sitting in there on the phone over the years, just like scratching away at the wall out of like boredom on a call. And I love those little details. You're like, people have been sitting here, getting a call from the office or something since, for 100 years, so as long as that club's been around. And just couldn't agree more about the vibe there. You walk downstairs to get to the pro shop, which is super cool. And like the logo is iconic with the squirrel. So yeah, just the Brookline is so good. What did you think of the course?
I got my ass kicked. Okay. Like
it is a US Open course.
It is so difficult. What was interesting is that, they're like, yeah, this hole isn't played the U.S. Open. We do like a one over there or something. So it's like we didn't play the exact thing. But it's a beautiful golf course. The greens are so difficult. To me, it felt like no matter where you landed the ball on the green, it was always going away from the hole. Like you'd hit good shots, I felt like, and they would still go away from the hole. And also the greens are really, really hard. Coming from the International, where I was playing my backup set, which I don't play a lot, so that means the wedges are just really, really spinny. I was spinning everything off the greens. And then I was hard-pressed to keep the ball on the greens. The other thing that was crazy to me about Brookline is it's so much blind shots into greens. Like, it's you have no idea what you're hitting at. You're just hoping for the best. And I said this to our host. I was like, it almost seems like I'm playing this golf course backwards, where like, the green's always above me, and I can't see any of the undulations. I'm just seeing like the top of the flag. I mean, they have that one hole that's like absolutely wild where you're like, you could barely even see the green, and it's like there's a huge bunker in front and then a huge mound, and then the green's underneath it, and you have to hit a perfect like spinny ball to keep it anywhere close to the green.
Totally.
But like okay, so this is my other thing that I noticed. There was all these stairs that were, it's like the natural rock there that they've made stairs for, or like cut into. And I remember thinking, it's like God wanted this place to be a golf course. Like, it just seemed so natural in there. And the rock formations, that's something that I didn't like see when I watched the greatest game ever played, or even watching it on TV. But I was just amazed by like the geological aspect of what was happening on that golf course. But anyways, 10 out of 10 experience. I will say this, and you're probably going to disagree with me on this one, but the Fernando is not a very good drink.
What?
I'm sorry. It is not a very good drink.
Wells. Oh, no, you have to honor the traditions. Do you not like rum? What's your deal?
Listen, I play a bartender on TV, okay? I know how to make a drink, and I don't know what's happening in that thing, but like, I drank 2 of them. They'll get you. They definitely will get you. But I didn't think like of all the specialty drinks at really special clubs, I wasn't a huge fan of them. I'm really sorry.
So disappointed. I mean, to me, like, I don't ever drink rum. The only time I've ever really chosen to drink rum and not been in the Caribbean is at National Golf Links with a Southside, which people will order a vodka Southside. That seems like sacrilege to me. But I think the Southside with rum is very similar spiritually to the Fernando, because it's kind of like a muddled mint drink, right? Like there's mint in it. The Southside recipe at National is like top secret. I asked them how to make it, and they're like, we're not telling you. But it was rum based. It was really good. So to me, when I had a Fernando, that was like the connection point. You know, it just reminded me of National. And here I was also at like another great cathedral of golf at Brookline. So I think you couldn't be more wrong. And I love the honor the Southside. Listen, it's not a transfusion, Wells, but when you're in at Brookline, you gotta be sipping on a Fernando. Maybe just hold your nose and get it down, but it is elite. Did you also have the peanut butter and jelly and bacon sandwich?
Oh,
at the
yes.
turn?
Yes.
Never seen that before. And like, talk about an elite snack on the golf course. Mm-hmm. Peanut butter, bacon, jelly on a little like toast. Oh my God. Incredible. But I want to come back to the rock stuff, because that was the other thing. When I went for the first time for the US Open, and we were filming Full Swing Season 1, that was the big surprise to me. It was just like all the natural kind of granite outcroppings. And I have come to think that like exposed granite formations on a golf course, top tier in terms of elite like aesthetic. It's also kind of specific to like that region of golf. And so like, you start to piece together these like aesthetic things on these great courses across all the great kind of golfing regions of the world. And so if you're in Scotland or Ireland, it's the gorse and it's the links land and it's these big mounds and really firm turf. And like, that's why, I played Kingsbarns, just thinking about, that tournament, the Dunhill, that was like 2 weeks ago. But Kingsbarns to me felt like an American course. Yeah. But then you go and play like some of these smaller courses like Ely, and you're like, this is what Scotland's all about. It's the total aesthetic altogether. Then, you go to the south and it's like pine trees, and obviously Pinehurst was sort of the scrubby areas, and obviously Augusta or Peachtree, that's this pine straw and these like beautiful bunkering and these kind of big elevation, and it's sort of humid, and you've got like these like little creeks, and that just feels very southern to me. And then you go to like obviously the West Coast. We're going to skip desert golf because we both don't like desert golf. Skip the West, you get to the West Coast and it's like the Monterey Peninsula. It's this weird in between thing where you've got this like lush green grass, but it's also, there's like gorse-esque things, and you're in these like cypress forests and stuff like that, and these dunes. It has a very specific feel.
Ice plant.
Ice plant, that's right. So to me, the Northeast is like granite rock outcroppings, and you see it at Brookline in kind of the most pronounced way. And it's also really cool. It like never comes into play. Like you're never like hitting into the rocks, but it's like nature breaking through the turf, in some ways. And it just, I don't know, it feels big and heavy and like, I don't know, grounding in a really cool way. And the other place that you see it is not to make a little transition. You also see it at Winged Foot Wells, and you see it at Sleepy Hollow. So to me, like seeing rock outcroppings a mark of an elite club. And so that I want to get to the next part of this. I heard you also maybe made a trip up to what is it, Manhasset? Where is Winged Foot?
What is it? It's
Amagansett?
Yeah. I think that's right.
Yeah.
North of the Bronx. I know that. I was going up. So I walked away from Brookline thinking I'm not sure if I'm going to play a better golf course in the next 3 years. Little did I know it was only going to take 2 days for me to play a golf course that I absolutely fell in love with in Winged Foot. Everything about that place fucks. Like, it's so... Dude, you drive up there and the clubhouse is a castle. Like, it is a literal castle. And I asked about it. I was like, was this here beforehand? Was this like a duke of someone that's like house or something? And they're like, no, they quarried all this rock from here to build this place. The clubhouse is huge. The locker room, again, elite. And then
2 stories.
The history of the 2 stories, like the upper versus lower tournament that they have, I think is like, oh yeah, that's so freaking awesome.
Yep. By the way, another detail of the locker room, really, really tiny, like spiral staircase basically to get upstairs and downstairs. Mm-hmm. And so when you walk in, it's like, it's not quite a spiral staircase, but it's like very dangerous and steep feeling.
Yeah.
And so I love that it's like, no one has said in 100 years, you know what, like our older members are having trouble here. Like, no, it's like you get up and down the stairs. And then, of course, on the far end of the locker room, that staircase drops you right in the bar, which is exactly what you're looking for. The other thing that I heard about Winged Foot to add on, so one, all the stone for the clubhouse was quarried when they built the golf course, which is amazing thinking about them doing that with horses and donkeys and stuff.
Yeah,
and maybe a steam shovel back then, probably, but like really rudimentary. And then the other thing that's interesting is I think that it's either 5 or 7 club presidents of Winged Foot started out as caddies there. So if you want to understand the culture of a club, I always thought Winged Foot was going to be really stuffy. I always thought, this is New York, blue-blooded. This is going to be really stuffy. It's the polar opposite. It is like you could literally become the president of the club starting as a caddy there and not being from a fancy family. It is, I couldn't agree more. It is like such an awesome place to tee up a golf ball. There's 2 golf courses too. Some people don't realize there's the West course, which is the U.S. Open, championship course. And then there's the East course, which I think is like in some ways even more fun than the West course and more interesting. There's a lot of like dog legs and fun holes and sort of drivable stuff. And it just, that place completely rules from the moment you set foot on the property. And they like to have a really good time there.
Yeah, to piggyback on your thing about like it not being stuffy, when you drive up there, I was thinking, okay, this is going to be like my experience at LACC or Balthus where it's like it's just a bunch of rich people and it's like doesn't have the vibe that I want. Like if I'm going to pay a bunch of money, I want it to be a party, right? And granted, we played there on a Sunday and it was after their member. So there was... I think a lot of members were at home and a lot of their wives were like, you're staying at home, we're coming out here. But we went out to their patio, which is, their bar is amazing. They've got like this like cheese and cracker thing that you can grab on the way out. The bar is so old school and old wood and great. And then you walk out onto this like veranda or this patio, which is huge, by the way. And everyone was partying and having an amazing time. And then, there's a bunch of like women there. So they recognized Chris Harrison and myself, and they were like, oh my God, can we buy you drinks? Can we buy you shots? Like rosé, let me get you rosé, like, because we give out roses. And I was like, this place is awesome. Like I'm having such a good time at this place. And then let's just talk about the golf course. Like I said, it was just their member. So they were like, it's hard right now, just so you know. Like the pins are tucked, the rough is high. This is gonna hurt. And boy, oh boy, did it. Now, we had the last time before people started dropping balls, and our host was late, and we almost got jumped. And our caddy, who is this girl from St. Andrews named Donnie, she was like, we have to go before the balls start being played, or else you're not going to be out of here for another hour and a half. And I was like, what are you talking about? And so they have a rule there that there are no tee times. So you get up there, whoever is the one person from your group puts a ball down on the tee box, and then someone else comes in and puts the ball, and that becomes the lineup. Like, there is no favored nations here. You can't go grease your starter. And I thought that was really cool. I like the way that happened, but I didn't like the fact that then all of a sudden there was like 30 people just sitting on the first tee watching all of us tee off. I snap hooked mine about 170 yards to the left, and everyone's like just hitting their ball, and I'm like, nope, it's okay. I'll be fine. I have to play my ball, whatever. I just didn't want to hit another ball. Ended up like hitting a 3-wood to about 30 feet, making par, and like getting out of there, being like, great. Anyways, the course is beautiful and long and hard, and the greens similar to Brookline. Like, I felt like nothing ever was like rolling towards the hole. It was always rolling away. But I absolutely loved it. And so we played a three match game, right? So we were just doing total score, and whoever got the lowest score was going to be the winner of our thing. So I was like 1 down after the first match, and then I was 2 down to Ben, and I was like 5 down to Chris, and I go out there on the front 9 and I throw up a atrocious 44, right? Like so bad, like so nervous, and like I was like, I just need a drink or something. Like I needed something to chill out. So then on 8 or 9, I chip in from the bunker for birdie, and everything changes. And then,
yes, baby.
10's a long par 3 that I stuck to about 30 feet, made par the next one, par the next one, par the next one, birdie the next one. All of a sudden, everyone's like, you're 1 under right now on the back after shooting. Like, my caddy was like, I don't know who you are, but I'm glad that you've shown up. Anyways, Ben fought. He like lipped out an eagle putt, 2 holes to go, because I was up like 2, and then all of a sudden we were tied, and it came down to 18, and I hit like a little snappy ball off into the left, but I had a window. I dumped it in the bunker up there. He hit his short. The pin was like way pinned back, and my caddy was like, play off the mound. And I'm like, no, I'm going straight at this thing. I got to make par, and I got to get out of here. I hit it to about 3 feet. So I've got a par putt, and like I said, we're even going into 18. He's got a 3-foot putt, but I'm a little bit out. So I sink my putt, and I walk over to his coin. I pick it up, and I throw it to him. I say, that's even. We're good. And it was just the best. It was like the best way to end. I felt like Jack Nicklaus at the Ryder Cup. Like it's such a dick move because I don't like allow you to lose, but like I get to hold that over you. Anyways, I got nothing but amazing things to say about Winged Foot. I think it's one of the coolest places I've ever played golf. Top 3 of my favorite places I've ever been to. If you ever get a chance, please, you should go play Winged Foot.
Yeah, it's so good. Well, I also was lucky enough to get an invite up to Winged Foot during the Ryder Cup week, and for me, it was the site of an insult that I'm going to carry with me for the rest of my life. Okay, and is now part of my Twitter bio. So I was playing with the editor of Golf Digest.
Love it,
and he's a member up there, and we play the front 9. We play in the East course, so this is like theoretically the easier golf course. And I played horrible. We were playing basically straight up. And I played like crap, probably shot like a 42 or 43 on the front 9. And I'm just like, I can't get the ball in play. I literally hit a water tower with a drive. I mean, it was embarrassingly bad off the tee and super frustrating. And I was just trying to hold it together. And we get into the clubhouse, and I'm like, I probably need like a snack and a cocktail or something. So we're hanging in the bar for a minute before we transition to the 10th tee. And we run into Steve Sands, who is, golf commentator. And I know Steve from just being around the industry. And he comes up and says hi. And he's doing some outing thing with Paul Azinger for the Ryder Cup, sponsored by somebody or whatever. So he was just there. And he's like, what do you think of Winged Foot? I'm like, oh, my God, it's awesome. This place is like the greatest. And I introduced him to the Golf Digest guy. And so Steve asks me, he's like, well, how you playing? I'm like, it's a bit rough. And he's like, well, are you good? And I was like, well, I mean, I'm a Skratch. And then the Golf Digest editor says, he's an industry scratch. Which was like fair and really, really just it cut me to my core. If there's ever a namesake for the Vanity Index podcast, like it's me. And so, yeah, I think the synonym of being an industry scratch really, that's one I'm going to take with me to my grave. But I did, like you, have a bit of a comeback on the back nine. I played much better on the back. I think I shot even par or one over, and so it redeemed it. But I'm going to carry that with me forever. So we might have to change the name of the podcast to Industry Scratch.
I had a caddy say something to me the other day that I really, really loved. At the end of the round, he said, he took his hat off and we were shaking each other's hands, and he said, I'd go on a walk with you anytime. And I was like, that's such a good line. Like that, I had played well that day, so we had fun, but like, it's so amazing how like a caddy can completely change the vibe of how you're playing and what you're doing. So yeah, what I was quoted was a little nicer than yours, but I'm an industry 5. If I'm being honest with you.
Oh, that's nice.
Anyways, you should go play Winged Foot if you ever. Okay, I do have one knock it.
You got a note?
I've got to knock it. Time for our segment called Can't Knock It, brought to you by Knockaround, proud partner of the Vanity Index podcast. And these guys make seriously awesome shades, and now they're the official eyewear of the PGA Tour. I wore these at Winged Foot, and they definitely helped me read some greens. They heighten contrast and definition and actually help you see those greens so much more clearly. It's wild how much detail you can pick up. And if you guys want to try a pair, head on over to knockaround.com/golf and use the code VanityIndex20 for 20% off your first order. Again, that's VanityIndex20 for 20% off. Some exclusions apply. Definitely got to check them out. Okay, this is I Can Knock It, brought to you by Knockaround.
All right, let's hear it. What can you knock?
The driving range. The driving range at Winged Foot is 200 yards max, but everyone's like maybe 180. So that's like a Cuddy 6-iron for me. And you can't.
Okay, well.
I mean, I'm a big hitter.
There's a 150-foot fence at the end.
Yeah.
Get a Cuddy 6-iron over that. Okay, but yeah, keep going.
Well, that's what they said. They were like, don't hit anything over 185. And I was like, that's like, so I only got to 7-iron because I didn't want to be a jerk or whatever. And the piece of property is huge. I mean, they have 36 holes. And if you have a golf course like that, you want to know what your driver's doing before you get out there. And I had no idea what the driver was doing. And to me, if you're going to be an elite club, you can have the fence up, but give me like the low flight balls or something so I can pound a couple drivers so I can kind of see where it's going. I'm not sure if that's something that bothers you, but it's something that really, really bothers me.
Yeah, I mean, the driving range setup is like kind of another one of these things that is part of that Northeast tradition. But also, by the way, in like Scotland, a lot of these courses don't even have driving ranges.
Totally.
So you just kind of show up and you're off the box. Brookline has a similar thing. I think they have a limited range where you're hitting limited flight balls.
Yep.
Our club in LA, same thing. Riviera, another one really famous to me. The driving range at Riviera, I think Riviera is like one of the most spectacular pieces of property in terms of the golf, and ruined in some respects aesthetically by this like driving range netting that like is in the dead center of the golf course that you can pretty much see on like every single hole. And last time I played Riviera, I was trying to think about what it would look like without the driving range nets, and it's just like it'd be perfect, And so like driving range is like, I guess, kind of a newer thing. Interestingly, another one that doesn't even have a driving range is Marion.
Really?
Like Marion's driving range is on a different part of on a different property. It's like a mile down the road, so you can go warm up if you want, but then you got to drive back. And to me, it's like hitting driver on the range to get warmed up only matters if I'm literally doing it within like 5 minutes of hitting my first tee shot. If I've got to get in a car, it's worthless. Like it might as well not hit any. So I agree with you in some respect, but only like for new courses. I think if you're a new course and you've built a new thing, I think having a driving range that allows you to hit driver, obviously that's like in the cards. But part of the charm of these old places is like, kind of playing like how they used to play. And I don't know if that driving range was there when Winged Foot was first created, like I doubt it. Most of these courses didn't have ranges, or you'd pay your caddy to shag balls for you for a few minutes. And it's amazing to me too how all these old pros like practiced without driving ranges, or they'd go have like their caddies shag for them. So I think you can knock it, I guess. But to me, like these old clubs, kind of part of the history, part of the tradition. I played another course called Tamarack Country Club, which is up in Greenwich, Connecticut. And it had an interesting way of handling this. So it had a driving range that actually hit balls into a par 4 fairway. And there was a electronic system where when groups came off the tee, it like trips a little signal or something. And then it like puts a big red light up on the corner of the driving range so you can't hit. But you're literally like hitting your golf shots back towards the tee box of a par 4 at like slightly off axis. And so, you're literally like walking up the fairway through like 1,000 golf balls, but the way the hole is like really downhill. And so it's like, you're going to carry all the driving range balls for the most part. You're not going to be like in play. And they thankfully have like yellow range balls. So, you can always find your golf ball. I thought that was kind of an interesting example of like another course that, I think they've got 36 holes there, and it's like, no space for a driving range. They kind of made do. So part of the charm to me, Wells, I know you snap hooked your tee shot, but yeah. I think you can't knock it personally.
Okay, fair enough. I was thinking of a new segment for you, and calling it Mum's the Word, because there's a lot of things that shouldn't be said on a golf course. And I'm going to start this, and then I'll give you one where whatever you think your Mum's the Word should be. And we got to find a sponsor for this. Chad Mum's the Word on the Vanity Index podcast. But I cannot stand it when people talk to my ball before it gets to the hole, even if it looks really, really good. And I really can't stand it when my caddy says something before it gets to the hole. I don't know if that's something that bothers you, but for me, I get so angry, and I always have to say, like, do take my ball out of your mouth now. Take my balls out of your mouth,
Totally.
Does it bother you?
Annoying. Yeah, that does bother me, actually. Okay. I wasn't sure where you were going with this, but yeah, especially, playing competitor, like, don't talk to my ball for sure. I had this happen to me the other day, and we had a caddy who, like, I don't know, whatever. I hit a putt, and he was like, oh, sit. Or whatever. It was like, sit down. And then it came up like 4 feet short.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, if you're going to talk, like, and it's going to listen, like, be like, get in the hole or something, like it was embarrassing. Oh God, this is good. All right. So, what do I not like to hear on the golf course? Hammer, I like it when it's coming out of my mouth, but like when I say it, I like it when you say it to me. So that's definitely top of the list. I think, you're away is always annoying. But yeah, I think like don't talk to my ball. I think that's a pretty good one.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
all right. Well, we're gonna work on this. We're gonna workshop this. So I'm gonna be more prepared next time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, have the ears out. Listening for some things out on the course you don't want to hear about. This actually kind of reminds me of. This is like these little parts of golf culture, and I saw something on Instagram the other day that made me laugh in terms of like. We always talk about the signs of like a great club, the little things and the little details. And we've also talked about like the signs of good players. And somebody posted the other day, and it is a 14 slot bag. And it's from the Golf Tour Chicago Twitter handle. And he says, where are all my real #ball knowers at? And I said, not using a 14 slot bag. And this might be my most viral tweet ever, almost 500,000 views on this. But that brings me up, kind of to this question is like, what are the signs that you're sort of not a stick? And to me, a 14 slot bag kind of says, hey, this is going on the back of a cart. No one's carrying this thing. And a lot of people were making the argument that this is the best way to keep your clubs organized. And to that, I say, like, are you losing your golf clubs in your golf bag? What's the issue here? I do agree with the placement on this, where you do have the woods up top and then, you're descending to your wedges at the bottom. Also don't agree with the putter on the bottom. I feel like the putter's always got to live up there up top with the drivers and the woods. But to me, the standard sort of 4 slot is the best way to go, mainly because it just reminds me of like high school golf. But I don't know. I can't take you seriously if you show up to the course with a 14 slot bag. Sorry.
Okay, so you brought up the 4-slot bag, which is what I employ right now, but we have both gamed the Mackenzie bag, which is a 2-slot bag.
Old 2-slotter.
How do you feel about that?
I mean, I guess I can slightly relate to people losing their clubs, because when all of your irons are mingled together, it is a bit like can be a bit chaotic to go in there and find that 54 instead of the 60. But I like the Mackenzie bags for if I'm going to carry, and it is kind of nice because you have to really like pare down your stuff, and there's a nice feeling of like, okay, I'm only going to bring 4 or 5 golf balls out because that's all I can fit in this thing, and a glove and some tees. It also gives me an excuse to use a valuables pouch. I always like get those as tee prizes, and I never really understand what you're supposed to do with a valuables pouch, because my normal golf bag is like a Titleist Lynx Legend, kind of club bag that's got a stand. It's meant to be carried. It's got a single strap, like a boss. And that has like more than enough pockets for me to carry like everything. So I never know what to do with these valuables pouches. I'm like, I have a valuable zipper thing. It's got like velour lining. I can put a watch in there. I put my phone in there, AirPods, whatever. Cash stays in the pocket, obviously. So I have finally found a use for a valuables pouch, which is with the Mackenzie bag, you only get one pocket. And so I need a place to separate like my tees and ball markers and, divot repair tools and stuff like that. So that's the one place where the valuables pouch has seemingly been useful for me. I don't know. What do you use a valuables pouch in? You also carry like crystals and stuff in your bag. So, have we ever, to get your chi correct.
Have we ever talked about that on the
you
show?
We did talk about it on the show, and I'm not going to let you forget it. Like the black obsidian or something that you're using to like level out your emotional waves.
Yeah, I'll try anything, Chad. Like, are you kidding me? I did something on the golf course that I think twice that I know you will say is egregious and I should have never done it, but I don't care because I'm not as much of a stickler for branding, but I got a lot of heat from my playing partners I brought out my spare set to New York because I'm just going to be in New York a lot because my wife's doing this show. So I'm just going to keep a spare set here. But my spare set doesn't have head covers, and it's just it's hodgepodge, and it's not like set up like my gamers at home, right? So when we went to Brookline, I bought a putter head cover and I put it on before the round. And everyone was like, you can't do this. And I was like, yeah. And Chad has this funny rule that you can't use another club's putter head cover unless you've gone low. And I didn't know if I was going to go low. I did not go low. But my bag looked really, really cool,
Oh, Wells.
I know. And then at Wingfoot, I was like, I think the Wingfoot logo is top tier, elite. Mm-hmm. And I needed I just had
Don't say it.
I needed a 5-wood head cover. Yeah. Don't worry.
Okay.
So I bought it, and I had it was a Titleist. It was the Titleist head cover, and I just went and threw that away, and I put that on before the round. And again, my playing partners were like, how dare you do this? You have to wait until at least after the round to do it. Now, do you think that my caddy was judging me for doing this?
Absolutely. I mean, but you're so ripe for judgment, Wells. Your visual aesthetics have to matter on the first tee. Yeah. You got to earn that head cover, buddy. You got to play the golf course and then put it on the bag. That's post round stuff. That's at least it's a 5-wood cover. I think I can be okay with that. It's not a driver cover. What's on your driver right now in your away bag?
You're not going to like this.
No. What is it?
A hoopy.
Oh, no. Oh, God. A club you are not a member at. Oh, yeah. Boy. I'm going to send you a Sugarloaf head cover or something. Just go down to our office. I don't know where you guys are staying. I'm sure it's close to Broadway, but go down to Greenwich Street to the Pro Shop offices. We'll get you a head cover because that's egregious behavior.
All right.
And actually, though, I will say, the idea of having an away set to get kind of set up aesthetically is got to be kind of fun. How are you gonna assemble it? What kind of towel are you putting on there? You got alignment rods. You have a cover for that yet? If you're gonna be playing all this great golf, it is kind of a blank slate, and I like the idea of being able to kind of assemble it. Are you what irons are you hitting? Is it the Titleists?
Yeah, the Titleist irons, and I actually like the effectively the 5-wood and the 3-wood, but then I gamed my Titleist driver back home, so I had the TaylorMade driver, and I couldn't hit it, so I just hit 3-wood the entire time. Anyways, and in theory, having the away set of clubs is fantastic, but it just always gave me the excuse of like, this isn't what I normally play. Like, I'm normally better, and everyone's like, shut up, I don't care, like, you're a liar anyways. These are beautiful Titleist clubs.
Oh my God.
So
yeah.
I yes, I'm going to keep this set here, but if I come back and I have some like really good golf lined up, you best believe that I'm going to, like, the fact that I went and played Brookline and Wingfoot without my gamers is a wild idea, and I don't know why I thought that was a good idea.
Oh my God. Well, I am excited that you're getting to play so much great golf. I've got a trip coming up back to the East Coast. I think we're going to probably cross in midair, but I'm going to be out at Oakmont in 2 weeks, which I'm excited to see kind of post US Open. It's spectacular, and I can't wait to go get back out there. But yeah, we're lucky, Wells. We get to do a lot of cool stuff. I want to talk a little bit about the skins game here.
Okay.
Because this is a week after we first announced that we're bringing the skins game back, and I want to get people excited about this. This has been a project that I've been working on for almost 5 years, convincing the PGA Tour to kind of like let me take the skins game over and bring it back to TV. I grew up watching it as a kid. Thanksgiving tradition for me was like turkey, football, Charlie Brown, skins game. My dad and I used to watch that in the Masters. Since I've acquired the rights to it and sort of been putting this all together, I have come to find out like that it used to actually be the highest rated golf televised event of the whole year. From like 1980 something to 86 or whatever, it actually outrated the Masters in terms of like TV audience. So, I think people forget just how big a deal it was. And when we announced last fall that we were going to be bringing it back without any details, I was kind of shocked at like how much like play it got, because people really do remember this thing. And and the skins game stopped in like, I think it was 2005 or 2008 was the last one. And since then we've gotten the match and several iterations of that with like Tiger and Phil and different celebrities. And my critique of the match has always been it never feels like they're playing for anything. And so for me, it was like, if we're going to bring the skins game back, one, we've got to really lean into the nostalgia. And I think we live in a nostalgia culture. I mean, Happy Gilmore 2, great example. Like, just in general, I think people are looking for this kind of tie back to history, and also like the core audience for this thing, like guys that our age, that are like grew up watching it with their dads, and now, like some of us have kids, and like I want to start that tradition for my kids. But that logo, that like skins game logo, looks like the Fleetwood Mac logo or the Cheers logo, just screams 80s to me, and I want to like honor it and bring it into the future. So when I like started putting this all together, to me, the number one most important thing was like, how do I get one? It was like we want to have like top players playing, obviously. So we partner with the PGA Tour, so we have all top PGA Tour players playing. There's 4 guys competing in it. I was like, we have to have a real purse. We also have to like figure out a way to get these guys like fist pumping or like really grinding over putts like early in the match. And obviously, if you're listening to this podcast, you know how skins games work. The way that the skins game works in this, traditionally was, every player starts at $0, and then the holes have a certain dollar value, and it increases as you get to the last holes. The last 4 holes are worth, like, I think in the old version it was like $100,000, or they're $50,000, but it would add up to like a big purse. And so we're going to do the same thing, but with a slight twist, which I'm really excited about, which we're calling the reverse purse. And so basically what we're going to do is each player is going to start with $1 million on the first tee. So you're going to see that scoreboard and the scoring standard, and it's going to say Justin Thomas, $1 million, Xander Schauffele, $1 million, Tommy Fleetwood, $1 million, Keegan Bradley, $1 million. And they're going to start playing the skins game. And as the holes carry over, 2 tie, all tie, the first time someone wins a skin, their total is going to go up. Everyone else is going to go down. And
by how much?
By whatever that whole value is worth. So
are they all worth the same, or do they keep on going?
No, it's going to escalate. So it'll start at like $100,000, and then it will go up as the match progresses. And obviously carryovers, they get added together. And so there could be some like really, really big swings where someone's going up a lot. I mean, theoretically, you could walk out of there with $4 million and everybody else walk out with zero. And I think that for these guys that are so used to, playing for big purses, when you're playing in an abstract event and the purse is being allocated based on your golf play, I don't think they really think about like a missed putt in terms of like dollars taken away from them. That's just not the way they think about pro golf. It's like if you miss a putt and you end up tied for third instead of solo second, like that's a pretty big swing in terms of cash. But in the moment, they're not really thinking about it. I'm going to make sure they're thinking about it.
Yeah.
And literally take the money away from them to, give it to the person that they're playing with and see their total go up. And I've been lucky enough to like be exposed to golfing with some of these top players, and they love to, wager on the side. And it's like they would kill to take like $100 off of each other, 100,000. It doesn't matter the amount. It's like the fact that they are handing it over. It was theirs. Now it's mine. I think is going to create like really, really interesting match dynamics, because you're going to get these guys really trying to win, because it's like literal bragging rights. Like, I'm taking your money right now. That's mine. And you got to go get it back. And we're also not paying appearance fees, which is, I'm sort of shocked that we were able to convince all these players to come and do it, because, they also grew up with the skins game. And, I think it's a big purse. Like, this is not for charity. This is like, you can theoretically win $4 million or you could walk away with nothing. And I think the idea of like there being real stakes for these guys, super, super excited. So skins game's coming back. It's going to be on Black Friday on Amazon Prime. We're out early, so we're the lead into the NFL game. So we're up first. So we'll be on the East Coast now. So we're kind of moving it from the desert to South Florida. We're going to be at Panther National, which is this awesome private club that no one's really ever seen before on TV that Justin Thomas designed with Jack Nicklaus. It's like one of these crazy, awesome private clubs that like no one gets to play. So I'm super excited for people to see it. It's very linksy. There's like long fescue. It's not what you expect out of South Florida. And like you're going to wake up hungover on Thanksgiving, after Thanksgiving dinner, and you're going to be waiting around for football to start. And all of a sudden the skins game is going to be back on your TV, while you're shopping on Amazon. So, really, really excited about it. We just announced it last week. We're going to be doing a ton of content in the lead up. We're kind of honoring the history of the event. I think the players are super exciting and super excited to kind of be a part of this tradition and history. And it just got me thinking, like, I got to bring back the skins game. Is there anything that if you were like head of golf that you would want to bring back from, the history of kind of golf on TV or whatever?
I think it's more of like where it was. Like, I remember, I don't even know if it was a skins game or it was a match, and it was Arnold Palmer versus Jack Nicklaus, just them two at Pebble. And I remember watching that, and they still will replay that on the Golf Channel. And I think
that's a Wonderful World of Golf. That's what that was.
Shell's Wonderful World of Golf. Yeah. So I would say that would be my answer, is the Shell's Wonderful World of Golf thing. Sounds so cool. As the television producer of me, I have questions about this that I don't know if you have the answers to, but I'm going to throw a couple at you.
Yeah, let's go.
Are they going to be mic'd up?
They are going to be mic'd up. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome.
But we're not going to do the AirPod thing, because I think that's a little, I don't know, that seems awkward to me. When they're trying to talk to the booth.
Yeah.
They do that on the PGA Tour. They've done that on TGL. They put the AirPods in. They get to talk to the booth. So we're going to have them mic'd up, but we're also going to have a reporter walking with them. And anytime we're going to want to talk to the players, we're going to actually have the reporter doing it out on the course. The other thing that we're going to do that I think is pretty cool is we're not going to rope and stake the golf course. So we're expecting a couple thousand people out there. It's going to be free to come out and watch. So if you're around in South Florida on the day after Thanksgiving, like, come and hang out with us. We're going to have it set up like the final round of the U.S. Amateur. So there will be no ropes and stakes. You're going to be able to walk in the fairways with these four players, because there's only one group on the course. Every green, we're going to let the crowd sort of surround the greens. We're going to try and create like a little amphitheater environment and really just make those putts that matter for like all that money really feel like huge moments, hopefully like even like pretty early into the match.
Other question is tape delay, or is it going to be live?
It's going to be live, baby.
Wow.
We're live. Yeah.
All right.
Live, which is terrifying, but also exciting. And definitely this will be our like biggest live event that we've ever produced. And, I think it's going to be great. And we've got a bunch of fun surprises for the broadcast in terms of like all the history and heritage of the skins game and all the lore from days past and these great champions that have competed in this event. And yeah, really trying to like honor the history while also pushing it into the future.
Well, that sounds awesome, dude. I'm really excited for that. I'm bummed that I can't go to it because I think my wife would kill me if I got on a red eye after Thanksgiving. But
just come and do Thanksgiving with us in Florida.
Yeah.
It's a nice place to be.
I will come back to you on that.
Okay, perfect.
All right, time right now for our segment we like to call Overheard from JLab, from the lab to the course. JLab Tech is trusted by the pros with gear engineered in the lab, built for every practice, every flight, and every moment you need to lock in. Like right now, Chad and I need to lock in with these microphones and these amazing headphones as well.
I've been traveling a lot recently, and I've been rocking these Bluetooth headphones. They've been amazing on flights. JLab delivers headphones, earbuds, and Bluetooth speakers designed for life that respect your budget. Look for the blue box at retailers everywhere or shop jlab.com. All right, Wells, what are we overhearing today? The internet's been abuzz with a lot of fun stuff. What are we overhearing these days?
Well, I think this is piggybacking alongside the Dunhill, which seemed like an absolute slog out there, at least for a couple days. It was just sideways rain and really, really tough. And then I saw this video of a $10,000 trip to Ireland that was effectively rained out. And I guess the question that we are answering is what do you do if this happens to you? I'll play the video for you real quick. Gale force winds.
Perfect song for this.
Yeah. And I think that these guys are trying to be a windbreak for this guy.
Oh, yeah. To
keep
the ball on the tee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hit it! So, what do you do? I mean, you've flown all the way over across the pond. You're playing Ballybunion. Would you still play, or is it stupid? And then also, friend of the show, Billy Bush, commented on it, and I think we should end with what he said.
I love this. I mean, this makes me think about, like, what's the worst weather you've ever played golf in?
Yeah.
And for me, it was also in Scotland. I played Carnoustie in, like, this exact condition, and I completely regret it. Like, I think this is one of those things where I get the spirit of, hey, you've spent the money to be over there. It's a great day. Like, it's a good memory. That one was like not fun. I got my butt kicked by the golf course. I was soaking wet and freezing. I think I had like some food poisoning or some kind of jet lag because I felt like I was going to throw up the whole time. And, you know, you drive for like an hour to get out to the golf course, and it's just driving sideways rain, and it's freezing cold. And it's like, it's just, I want to feel like I love golf enough to be able to make that fun. But honestly, it was like kind of a huge disappointment, and I wish I would have just hung out at the pub all day and tipped a few back. But I don't know. Like, you spend the money to be over there for a lot of reasons, and I think the idea of like creating memories with your time is really important. And to me, like, the vibe of being there with all my friends that we did this golf trip together, just being all sad that we couldn't play golf in this driving weather and hang out at a pub is honestly maybe a better memory than just like going out and brutally like torturing yourself, barely even playing golf, you know, in nasty, nasty weather. Now, like, if it's raining and cold, I get that. That's how it is in the British Isles sometimes. If it's like unplayably raining and it's sideways wind and you can't keep the ball on the tee, it's like, to me, that's just, it's not worth it. Like, go hang out at the pub, go experience culture. You're still going to have a great day. You're going to have a great memory about the time you almost played Carnoustie or you almost played Ballybunion. But to me, it's not worth it for that Instagram video of you playing in sideways rain. I don't know. What do you think?
Okay, so here's the question. So this happened to me at Pebble. I gave my brother a round at Pebble, which he had never played before, for Christmas. We went down there, so it was paid for. We get there, same thing. Sideways rain. The cups were filled up with water, so much so that we didn't want to make them because if you'd have to reach in, then your hand would get just soaking wet. But the thing is that, like, I had already paid for it. It's like, what are we going to, like, I'm not getting a refund here. There's no, like, rain check. So, you know, if you still have to pay for it, the other thing is, especially in Ireland, I feel like the weather can change really, really quickly. And, like, what if, yes, it's, like, sideways crazy rain for the first 6 holes, but then it clears but you're not on the course. And so like all of a sudden you're at the pub and you're looking outside and you're like, it's turned into a bluebird day. And we could have been out there, but we kind of pussed out. So I don't know. I guess I'm on the other side of it. Like, might as well try, especially if you have paid for it. Now, I do love what our friend Billy Bush said. He said, I'm going to the pub and getting hammered, then revisit the idea, which...
Which, by the way, you could be drunk and it could be late in the afternoon. You could be like, you know what? Let's get the golf clubs. We could do this. Yeah, you have a little bit of like liquid warmth kind of getting you going there. Yeah, I mean, I'll say like this might just be my old age, and I don't know. Maybe I'm too jaded about all of this, but I remember being a little kid, and it was not a little kid, but like maybe in 10th grade, and I was obsessed with golf, and it was Christmas morning, and I got a Cleveland 588 RTG 60-degree wedge, my first ever lob wedge, my first ever, I think, maybe new club that I ever got. And I was like, I have to go play golf. It's Christmas Day. We're done. It's like I got a little window before Christmas dinner. It's like we've done, opening presents. And so I went out to our like local golf course, which was sort of this like semi-private place where I used to work as a cart boy. And it was freezing. I mean, it was literally like the ground was frozen. It was like kind of misting rain. And like maybe 25, 30 degrees. So in Atlanta, Georgia, that's like really, really unseasonably cold. So we're freezing, and we get out there, and I'm like, I don't care. I'm playing golf anyway. I got to be able to play with this wedge. So we're like carrying our bags because there's no carts because the course is closed. And so we get out there. The first hole's a par 5. So I like have to like hammer a driver, like hammer a tee into the ground to get it to stick. We tee off, lay up with my second shot to the perfect lob wedge distance. And I remember sitting there of that ball being like, all right, let's see how this goes. Perfect swing right at the flag, and then just gunk, like the ball bounced off the green because it was frozen solid, like it was hitting a cart path. So we got one more hole in, and then we were like calling our moms to come pick us up. Yeah. But at least I went out there and did it, and I don't know if I would do the same these days. I'd enjoy sitting in the warm, cozy pub a little too much. So especially, look, I think it's different for you growing up in Pebble and sort of being in Carmel, like. You're just going to go home, and that feels like a wasted day. Like if you're like, we live here, it's like kind of a waste. But like if you're already abroad on a golf trip, like you're in another culture anyway. So like go and have like a long lunch, go hang in the pub, like go walk around, like you'll find a way to like have a great memory out of that day. In my opinion, I still don't think it's worth it. As much as I could say, it was fun playing Carnoustie, it was not a fun round, and I don't think I would do it again.
But also you get the story, right? Like you get the experience of like playing Carnoustie in nasty weather, and there's something about that, right? Like if you go to St. Andrews and it's all nice weather, then you almost don't get the full experience. Now, obviously, this is true. Like to the nth degree, but part of playing links golf is playing in crap weather.
Well, the funny part about that is I think I shot like a 92 or a 93 or something as like a 1 or 2 handicap index at the time, and I played with a guy from the European Tour who was like works there, he does media for the DP World Tour, and he was like a 5, and he shot like 75. Really? It's like, yeah, he was like, whatever, this is like how we play, and I'm just like, God, I'm soft. I'm so soft. I mean, it also spoils you being out in California, like playing in good weather. It's like life's too short to be cold and wet, which really annoys me that I think that way these days, because I would just do anything to get a club in my hand no matter what. Now I'll just hit balls on the simulator or something in the office. But, I can't believe as I say this, I like hate myself. Yeah, I really am. Like I should cancel myself as a golfer and remove my vanity index card from play, because it's embarrassing that I don't want to get out there. But no, you're right. It's probably good for some stories. If you've paid for it, might as well give it a run, and maybe get lucky in the weather breaks.
Yeah. We want to hear what you guys are thinking. Hit us up at Vanity Index on Instagram, or Skratch on TikTok or YouTube as well. This has been a fun episode, us just talking about golf, and I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, buddy. Well, I know you're going to be back in LA soon, so we're excited to have you back, excited to be back together again. I feel like every time we do these stretches of remote recordings, when we get back in the studio together, it's just magic. So I can't wait to see you. Safe travels home, and hope Sarah breaks a leg in her big Broadway premiere again for her new show. So
Appreciate that. All right, to all you golf sickos, thanks for listening to the Vanity Index podcast. We'll see you all again at the first tee. See you guys.